Before we dive into these bone-chilling tales, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to smash the bell icon to never miss a story like this one. Now, let's begin. This is the story of Ryan, an 8th grader who wasn't much into studying except when it came to Mr. Collins' math class. Ryan never missed it. Mr. Collins was his favorite teacher, not only because he was great at teaching, but also because he was always on time. Until one day, something strange happened. It was 10 minutes into the class, and Mr. Collins was nowhere to be found. The classroom grew noisy, but Ryan, sitting at the front, kept staring at the door. Then, something odd happened. Ryan saw someone peeking into the classroom, standing awkwardly by the door. Their eyes met, and the figure quickly moved away. Ryan thought it looked like Mr. Collins, but something felt off. He decided to follow him. Stepping outside, Ryan saw Mr. Collins walking in the opposite direction of the classroom. He tried calling out, but it was as if his voice didn't reach him. Confused, Ryan followed him into an empty classroom. Suddenly, he heard footsteps again, echoing through the corridor. Ryan stepped out and saw Mr. Collins walking farther down the hallway. Ryan ran after him, calling his name, but no answer. Mr. Collins stopped by a window at the end of the corridor. Something wasn't right. The sunlight cast shadows on the floor. Ryan's shadow was clear, but Mr. Collins had none. Ryan's heart raced, but he gathered the courage to ask, "Sir, why didn't you come to class today?" As soon as he spoke, the sunlight vanished. The hallway turned pitch black, as if a storm was looming. Terrified, Ryan asked again, "Why aren't you answering?" Slowly, Mr. Collins turned around, revealing a face that was pale and stretched, with his skin hanging loosely. Ryan was frozen with fear. Mr. Collins opened his mouth as if to speak, but only eerie sounds escaped. His body stiffened as he reached out toward Ryan. In sheer panic, Ryan ran down the corridor, colliding with Miss Williams, who had been looking for him. She calmed him down and explained that Mr. Collins had taken leave that day. But if he was on leave, who had Ryan been following? Shaken, Ryan returned to class. After school, he stood outside, still thinking about what happened. Suddenly, he saw Mr. Collins staring at him from a window in the school building, looking just as terrifying as before. Ryan screamed, telling his friend Alex to look, but Alex saw nothing. 3 days later, Ryan's world was turned upside down when he learned that Mr. Collins had died the very day he saw him in the corridor. He had passed away in his sleep, his body found stiff and lifeless. Ryan never understood why Mr. Collins had appeared only to him. But this wasn't the only eerie incident in a school. Another chilling event happened to 15-year-old Mia. Mia stayed late at school one evening to practice for a dance competition with her friends Paul and Liam. When Paul injured his ankle, Mia ran to the medical room for help, but it was locked. As she turned, she saw a shadow pass by. Mia followed the shadow to the 3rd floor, a restricted area, only to find a locked door. Suddenly, the lock fell to the ground. Inside, she found a man standing by the window. She asked him for help, but he didn't respond. Then, the door slammed shut on its own. Terrified, Mia screamed for help. The man turned, his face twisted in an unnatural grin. As he grabbed her, Mia panicked and screamed louder. Liam and the teachers heard her cries and rushed in. They found Mia alone, trembling, with scratches on her shirt. The teachers later revealed that the ghost of a janitor, who had died on the 3rd floor years ago, still haunted the building. These are just 2 stories from schools that should feel safe, but sometimes they hold secrets darker than we can imagine.